Welcome, everyone, to Intensity Broadcasting for coverage of the Superspeedway Kings series, sponsored by Over the Top Designs. The Superspeedway Kings are the best Superspeedway drivers running the best setups on iRacing, and tonight we are going to be racing at, I believe, Talladega. So that should be some exciting racing. I'm your announcer, Atlee @ManWeese, and joining me tonight to call the action is not only experienced iRacer, but very, very experienced super speedway racer, Josh Hall. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing excellent, Atlee. Glad to be here.
Right. Talladega always has the better racing in this league, just because this league is known for going 3 wide, and they can do it consistently just because they are some of the best super speedway racers out there. So hopefully we can see some consistent 3 wide racing. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been watching some practice here, and these guys are already practicing 3 wide, so it's looking real good in practice, and I'm sure it's going to transfer over to the race.
That's exciting to hear. Always some great racing here with the Superspeedway Kings, but this league would not be possible without race sponsor Over the Top Designs. If you're in need of a top-notch custom scheme, check out Over the Top Designs on Facebook. I mean, if you're like me, where you don't want to go on trading paints or GIMP and just mess around and create your own paint scheme, then go ahead and just contact Over the Top Designs. I've been on their Facebook, and they have a lot of cool paint schemes that they've showed, which they've made, and they look sweet. So if you want a custom paint scheme, check out Over the Top Designs. We also do have an anonymous sponsor that is currently paying 20 iRacing credits to the winner each week, plus 100 iRacing credits to the champion. So thank you to them for doing that for these drivers. Just gives them a little something to compete for.
Anytime there's money on the line or prizes of any kind, it definitely raises the intensity and, you know, brings out a different class of driver.
Speaking of this race, we got unlimited tires as always, 2 quick repairs, which we've seen times where, I believe it was 2 races ago, where there was a lot of cautions and people had to use their quick repairs wisely, so you never know when that's going to come into play. Of course, 64% fuel, which is going to mean a lot of green-white checkers. A lot of green flag pit stops in this 77-lap race.
Yeah, and they're here in the Cup cars this week, and as we all know, the Cup cars are actually unrestricted. They're 550 horsepower, so it's going to burn a lot more fuel than the restricted engines would of, say, the trucks or the Xfinity Series. So I believe everybody's going to be pitting a little bit earlier than normal. We have 64% fuel, so I imagine these guys will be coming in between laps 28 and 32.
All right, because we've seen that's kind of the fuel window for these drivers at Daytona and Talladega. It might differ between the two. We'll see how the fuel comes into play as we now have 1 minute left in practice. Let's take a look at the board. Dude Conrad with a 46.45 currently is on the top. Then we got Eric Laurie in second, Rob Connors in third, and then always up front, fourth and fifth, we got the Groover brothers.
Yeah, the Groover twins are always going to be a factor here. So I'm watching them in practice. They're in the middle of a three-wide sandwich right now, but yeah, we're always excited to see them up front and making big moves and working together.
Right, and they like going three wide, which is pretty common at Talladega. So we'll see if they try to do that, as we now have qualifying, only 1 lap qualifying, which is because really qualifying does not mean too much at Superspeedways, considering how somebody in the very, very back of the pack could eventually make their way up front with everything that goes on.
Yeah, with Talladega, it's not as much important as it is at Daytona, where it's a lot smaller of a track. Well, not smaller, but not as wide. Where you have 3-4 lanes you can use here at Talladega, Daytona is really 2 lanes. So you can make it 3 wide, but it gets real sketchy. These guys can hold it, but for the most part, if you're in an open series, going 3 wide can get real sketchy. So yeah, here these guys can go 3 wide. I expect them to be 3 wide by the end of the first lap, really.
Now, this is an open setup league, Josh, so can you explain to the viewers what that means and why that's going to be important to mention tonight?
Yeah, well, so iRacing has 2 kind of setups that you can opt for. You can do a fixed setup where iRacing or the race director sets the setup. Kind of think of it like the old iRock series. Everybody has the same setup, everybody's got the same car, and it comes down to the drivers. Here in an open setup, these guys, just like a real NASCAR Cup series would have, these guys can change the setup. They can change pretty much everything from shocks and springs, perches, camber, caster. The only thing they really can't touch is the engine. So any kind of mechanical grip, which at a track like Talladega or Daytona, there's a lot of tricks and things you can do. You want to get that car sealed down to the ground the best you can without having it drag. But at the same time, you want to be able to handle real good in traffic. I know a lot of times when we used to run open, or when I used to run open setups, I'd have a setup that ran great in qualifying. But once we got into the race, the car was just so fast that the big spoil in the back pushed the back end down, and it started to drag on the ground, and it slowed you right down. So there's a lot of talent that goes into setting up a car here at Talladega or Daytona.
Now, with that being said, do these drivers change their setups from week to week or from one trip to Talladega to the next, or are they probably running the same setup they ran last time in the Cup cars at Talladega?
So I always, when I build a setup for a track like Daytona or Talladega, I always have 4 setups. I have a qualifying setup, I have a hot track setup, I have a cool track setup, and I have a cloudy setup. So kind of like you would have in real life, where the track changes, the temperature changes, and it's going to change the way the track is going to handle. So those things can play a factor for sure.
Absolutely. As we look at the top of the board to see who is going to have the best setup in qualifying, Tracy Weaver is on the top of the board with a 49.37. See if anybody's going to have anything for Tracy.
Yeah, and Kevin Free's right behind him with a 49.38. So the field right now is already pretty tight at the top there.
A lot of great people still need to get on the board. Todd Siebels, Rob Connors, as there goes Estel Field's getting pretty close. 49.40 to Gabe Butler. He's in third now.
Here comes the 01 of Groover coming through the tri-oval right now. I know we got the 02 on the screen. He's coming through the short chute before the tri-oval right now. So we're going to see... Looks like Patrick Groover had a really bad lap. Him and Seth, they're going to be starting 24th and 25th as of right now.
looks like Seth
I take that
Groover,
back. Seth jumped up to
6th.
6th.
Not bad from him.
So that's going to throw a big wrench in their strategy, having Seth starting up in 6th and having 01 back in 29th right now. Jesus. It looks like he's just out on track now, so he's just starting his lap. So I apologize. I thought he had already turned his lap, so he's just crossing the start-finish line now.
See where he gets. And
He's
he
gonna
gets
jump
to
up to
third.
I was going to say, something wasn't right there, having him starting way back there, so...
Right, I think it was last race where the two were actually perfectly lined up with each other. They're not going to be quite perfectly lined up with each other, but they're going to be pretty close with each other. And a few quick moves, they'll be lined up right behind each other.
Well, they're both, right now, they're both on the outside row, which to me, that's going to be an advantage for them. Having, they do have one car between them, and that's Estill Fields, but I think these two will be able to hook up together pretty quickly. It looks like we have just one car back left on track right now, and that's the 127 of Donald Kendrick.
I think we've seen the fastest of the fast here in qualifying, and a lot of drivers opt to not qualify. Either they want the challenge or that's just their strategy.
I think it's a big strategy move because you want to make sure that you're there at the end. You do have the 2 resets, but we all know that you could have a big one on lap 2, then you can have another big one on lap 10, and if you're involved in both of them, your race is done, and you didn't even make it to lap 10. So I think some of these guys might try to play it a little smart, stay in the back, and go from there.
And there we go. We got the starting lineup here with the 49.374. Tracy Weaver starting on the pole. Kevin Freeze starting in second. Starting third, we got one of the Groover twins, Patrick Groover in the 01. And then starting fourth, always up front, 88 of Gabe Butler.
Estill Fields in the 042 is going to roll off 5th. Dude Conrad in the 6th spot in the 8 machine. The 02 of Seth Groover on the outside in the 6th spot, 7th spot, excuse me, and Seth Groover, and Everett Lane rolling off in 8th. My screen just jumping around for a second.
You got Al Cena starting 9th, and then rounding out your top 10 is going to be Larry Boyle. Starting 11th in the 13 is Frank Gramuglia, and rounding out your top 12, we got Paul Witt in the number 429.
Rich Seabands in the 13th spot, and Michael Pegg in the 777 machine. And then Eric Laurie in the John Deere ride, and John Garrett rolling off row 8.
Then we have Charles M. Johnson starting 17th. Starting 18th, we got Alliance Motorsports driver James Mayer. Then 19th, we got Noel Coers. And starting right behind his Alliance Motorsports teammate, we got Mark Mann in the 04.
In the 55 machine, Dan Wilkinson will be rolling off 21st. Todd Siebels rolling off 22nd. That makes the 11th row. Jay Hillard in the 20 machine is going to be rolling off 23rd. And the 101 of Randy Miner rolling off 24th.
We have 25th, Rob Connors with Buck Wild Racing. Starting 26th, we have the 03 of David Overstreet. 27th in the 43, we have Dave Bingle. And 28th, got the 83 of Mark Billen.
Bobby Johnson in the 44 machine rolling off 29th. And Don Thompson in the 22 rolling off in 30th. LG Waitley, first driver that did not... Oh, I take that back. I have my grid there. It looks like Jimmy Crow in the 31st spot, first driver that didn't qualify. And John Stathkos in 32nd spot, previous winner.
We have Michael Loveless starting 33rd. 34th, got Ernie Williams Jr. in the 91. 35th, got the 52 of Brent Lee. And 36th, we got the 007 of David Adamson.
Darren Resner in the 34 machine rolling off 37th. And 38th is going to be Michael Howlett in the 33. Bradley Green in the 033 in the 39th spot, and Brian Pierce rolling off in 40th.
Donald Kendrick starting 41st in the 127. 42nd is the 99 of LG Whaley, and starting last, but not least, Thomas Holder in the 00. Here we go, getting set for a great super speedway race at Talladega. Starting up front is Tracy Weaver. Go.
And 77 laps here at Talladega is a long time, so some of these guys towards the back, especially, like the 08 of John Stathakos, I expect him to be up there at the front by the time this thing's over.
Right. And another driver to keep your eye on is Rick Seabrands. He's actually finished in the top 10 in every single one of these Super Speedway Kings races, so don't count him out. Here we go. Tracy Weaver, Kevin Freese, starting on that front row. We've got Patrick Groover, Gabe Butler. Got a full field of cars. Let's see what happens here. There you go. Green flag is out here at Talladega. Tracy Weaver has the nose as we cross the line. Let's see what happens here in this first lap. Kevin Freese
a lot
has
of
anything?
Evenness. Yeah, pretty even there through going into turns 1 and 2, but Seth Groover, that big push on Tracy Weaver is going to push him right ahead into the lead.
Right, that's a great push going on. And looks like both Groover brothers are stuck on the inside. I thought they were going to be starting on the outside.
Yeah, I think somebody bumped them out there to the outside, but here they go trying to make that bottom line work right now.
And there goes Patrick Groover to the high side. Got Tracy Weaver out far enough to where he could make that move. And let's see if Kevin Freese can help get him a good enough push to take the lead over Tracy Weaver. It's clear.
Patrick Groover's going to lead the first lap here at Talladega. He's going to pull back down to the bottom, get that momentum on the bottom side working.
Wow, that's one of the impressive moves that you see here in the Super Speedway Kings races. Great move by Patrick Groover, but right now Kevin Freese is now the leader of the high side once again. Let's see if he's going to have anything for the 01 of Patrick Groover.
Looks like that high side's got a little bit of that energy going on. You can see them really formed up well up there. And a little gap behind that Seth Groover on the bottom. So I think that high side is going to be pulling right up here in just a moment.
Right, but at the same time, there's only 4 cars in that group. And then right after Everett Lane, there's a huge gap between him and Eric Laurie on the high side. So I don't know, that could mean dysfunctional high side, but of course Eric Laurie is most likely, and also the 01 who just moved up there, they're just going to suck right up the back bumper of the 8 car with that draft.
Well, we've got 3 really fast cars on the first 3 cars on that high side between Kevin Freese, Gabe Butler, and Duke Conrad. So I think those 3 fast cars up there are going to be able to get up there pretty quickly.
Yeah, and then here comes Seth Groover and Eric Laurie finally catching up to their back bumper. We got also the 66 of John Garrett joining the show.
Yeah, you can see how much these cars are really starting to move around already. These cars, with that big back spoiler and the aero on these things, these do tend to move around quite a bit. So you see, whoa, big jump to the high side for Patrick Groover. He's going to get his brother right here. They're going to go to the front, I think.
Yeah, let's see if they can get that third line going. Will anybody else head up there with them? Oh, moving up a little bit. Gabe Butler and Duke Conrad almost making contact with the 01.
Yeah, I saw Gabe push up a little bit, and yeah, Duke just kind of followed him along. But those 2 on the outside just sitting there. I figured somebody might want to go along with them, but they're just falling backwards right now.
I don't know if it's too early in the race, but wow. A big jump ahead. The 41 of Tracy Weaver and then the 042 of Estill Fields they've ran away from the rest of the field. As they've got the 25 of Kevin Freese all the way in the rearview mirror.
The 37 is around in turn 4.
And caution's out. Take a look at that wreckage replay to see what happened there. There you go. I believe we found the replay right here. Watch that 37 machine. It's that blue car, like you mentioned. What happens? Got that Hardy's car behind him. That's the 43. Oh, that's David Bingle. Goes high. Something happened there with the 37. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, it looks like he just blew his motor, and he might have been overheating and trying to get out of it. And when the motor blew,
if I just saw some black smoke come out of that backside of Rob Connors, and I guess you're right, blown engine. See that sometimes here at Talladega. Just must have gotten too much heat in that machine.
looks like the entire field coming on the pit road here to top off. Possibly make some adjustments too. I saw a couple cars pushing a little bit and a couple cars getting a little squirrely, so you can drop the wedge in the vehicle, you add some wedge or take some out, change your tape. That's really all you can do in the race to help you out. So see if anybody makes any small adjustments here too.
Right, and some small adjustments can make a big impact, that's for sure. Like Estill Fields won the race off of pit road, got Tracy Weaver, Kevin Freeze, got Gabe Butler, Everett Lane. Here we go, we got first caution of the race, a little engine blow. If you're hanging behind someone a little bit too long, engine's going to overheat, and that's exactly what happened to Rob Connors. Now, Josh, I have a question for you. Have you ever, speaking of tape, as you mentioned, have you ever forgotten to take the tape off after qualifying?
I plead the fifth. No, absolutely. It's happened more times than I'd like to admit. I'd probably say I've done that as many times as forgetting to put fuel back into the car running a road course after qualifying. So it's something that definitely happens, and it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, I wonder if we ask a lot of these drivers what their response is, we might get some funny stories. But so far, it's been a good race.
Yeah, and that's probably that's possibly what happened to the who was it that happened to, the 37?
Yeah, Rob
He
Connors.
could have just forgot to change it. Yeah, he could have just forgot to change his tape, and he was overheating. So, it's a very common way to blow your motor here, because he doesn't look like he was really pushing anybody.
Right, because although tape can make the car faster short term, long term it can heat that car up, and that can cause some major problems.
Yeah, it's a balancing act how much tape you want to run or not run. Obviously, the more tape you run, the faster it's going to be, but the less cooling you're going to have.
Like the lights on the pace car have gone off, so we're going to be going green this time by with Estill Fields and Tracy Weaver running on that front row. When the caution came out, they were actually the top two, and they won the race off of pit road. Both of them did finish top two there. So we'll see how they do. Got Kevin Freeze and Gabe Butler behind them.
Yeah, and going back to the tape for just a second, I personally like to run a lot of tape. I know a lot of guys, they run lower percentages, but me, I try to push it to the absolute max I can so I can have the most speed, because just like, me and Joe, we like to run that high side. So having more tape up there is definitely going to help you get more speed and hold your speed up higher on that high side.
Interesting. Yeah, everybody has their preferences, that's for sure. Look at this pit road time. Estel Fields was an entire second faster than a lot of the other drivers. Might have did something that a lot of the other ones didn't.
That's just, sometimes you just hit your pit stop just right, and that time comes down, so good stop for him. So we take that, once the pace car pulls off, we have that long wait down to the start-finish line, which is not in the tri-oval, but after the tri-oval.
Right, and that can make for some good finishes. A lot of the best super speedway finishes in NASCAR come at Talladega because of that long tri-oval.
And as a driver, it just feels like an eternity as you're coming down this this long tri-oval here trying to take the green flag.
Here we go. And green flag is back out here at Talladega Super Speedway. With the nose right now is the 042 of Estel Fields.
There's already some big moves going back and forth. The 01 and the 02 are already hooked up, and they're on the high side with Eric Laurie.
Yeah, I expected Patrick and Seth Groover to do that, and there you go, already hooked up. We'll see if they might try running that third line again. Last time they tried it, both of them faded very quickly before the caution came out. So let's see if they might try that again. Maybe get some other people up there as well and get a consistent third line running.
Well, they've got Eric Laurie behind them, and I know Eric likes running that third line as well. But right now, it's all about the momentum and the energy, and that bottom lane is not formed up like that top lane is right now.
Yeah, we got a big gap between the 24 of Everett Lane and then the next car, which is that bright yellow and blue 95 machine of James Mayer. So we'll see if he can suck up to that back bumper of Everett Lane.
Was trying to make a 3-wide first lane on the inside of the Groover twins, but he thought better of it as they go through turns 3 and 4 here. We're going to be coming to the start of lap 10.
Yeah, so far, it seems like a long time for these drivers. I believe last race, the entire time was an hour and 7 minutes. And so far, it's been 10 laps and 10 minutes through this race. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Looks like Tracy Weaver's getting a pretty good push here from Gabe Butler on that high side. Try to make it work. He just can't get the momentum off the corner to get that big run down the backstretch. Although here it comes now. There's that run I was just talking about as Gabe's going to push him right to the front here, and he's not going to be able to get down, but he's got that 8 of Dude Conrad now, and the Groover twins right behind them, so imagine Gabe's going to be pushing himself right up to the front in just a moment.
Yeah, absolutely great run by Tracy Weaver, and that was all on account to a great push by Gabe Butler, but now he is the pushed here as the leader of the high side. Let's see if him and Dude Conrad can get something going with each other. Both of them are very, very fast drivers, great at super speedway racing, and when the two come together, it might make for a great duo.
Dude's a great pusher, and I've been pushed by both Gabe and Dude a few times, and yeah, Dude is probably one of the better pushers out there. You can see him all over that back bumper right now, trying to do what he can, but now the big push is coming from that bottom lane in the 042s. It looks like Dude may have to get out a little bit there. He may have been getting hot.
Right, you're seeing some drivers move up a little bit. And here comes the Groover brothers on the third lane. Let's see if they can get something going.
And about 10 cars behind them, they've got another 2 cars looking to be on that third lane up there. So if those other 2 cars can get up there, I can see those guys making something happen.
Right, all you need is 3 or 4 cars, and that can be a dangerous, dangerous situation for the drivers on the bottom and then the middle line. We'll watch the progression of all the way up there. Like they're fading a little bit as Eric Laurie is going to clear them pretty much.
Yeah, so you got Jimmy Crow right now, and he's being pushed by, looks like Alcina right now on that high side. Like I said, about 10 cars back from the Groover twins. So, but they're starting to make some hay up there on that high side. So I imagine they'll be moving up there in just a couple moments as we see that 66 now jump up to that third lane to go help out Patrick and Seth.
Yeah, see that John Garrett. Let's see if that can give them the push that they need to start making some progress. And like you said, there is that Kodak car 39 of Jimmy Crow. Once they can all get connected with each other, that's going to be a force to be reckoned with all the way up there.
Yeah, and I see the 01 making a little move to the high side as well. Trying to get something going up there. And the advantage of being up on that way high side is the fact that you don't have to lift. And you see there's a little bit of a checkup now in the back of the field as they were just 4 wide a moment ago. And that actually had the 01 and the 66 having to get out of it. So now the Groover twins are kind of all by themselves. But sometimes you can see that accordion effect where there's a little bit of a checkup and it just goes all the way through the field. When you're on that third lane, you really don't have to worry about that too much.
All right, we'll see how that continues to progress. Back at the front still, Tracy Weaver is the leader of the bottom. Gabe Butler's trying to get something done, but him, Dude Conrad, and Eric Lurie just haven't been able to get anything special going on.
But the fact that the Groover twins right now are that close to the front, just the two of them, is impressive. They were almost just even with Gabe and Tracy here, so the fact that they're able to get right up there is crazy.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. Always are up on that high side, making some great moves. As right now, they're about, let's see, in the tri-oval, they're over 200 miles per hour, 203 about right now.
And you can see how much the cars are moving around there as they come through the tri-oval here. And yeah, again, they're almost even with the leaders here going into turn one.
Yeah, and if they can get some other drivers up behind them, in addition to them being up front, even with the two of them, that third line is going to get a huge push up to the front. No doubt.
Jimmy Crow's still up on that third side. He's trying to make something happen, but he just doesn't have anybody to help him, and he's too far back right now to get a sniff of the draft off those two.
That's definitely a problem there for Jimmy Crow. A risky move would be maybe if Eric Lurie could maybe get clear of the two Groover brothers on that middle line, then he could potentially hop up there, but the Groover brothers are so fast that they don't even have the opportunity for Eric Lurie to clear them.
Oh, we got a wreck in the back. Ooh. Big wreck. The 101 involved the 55 over on his lid. The 03 is involved as well. That was a big one right there. Just took out about 10 or 15 cars. As the 03 of David Overstreet getting loose on the high side.
Check this out here.
He just came across the radio and apologized for getting loose there on that high side. So that's how I knew it was him.
Here we go. We found the incident here. Let's take a look at it. Here we go. So watch that bright orange 03 of David Overstreet. Goes up to the high side, trying to help push Jimmy Crow to catch the Groover brothers. Ooh, that's where it happened. Flew up the track into the wall and then came back down into the 34. 34 rushes down. It hits the rear corner panel of the 55. And that's where this all starts. 85 flies in the air. Same with the 55. Cars pushed into each other. 55 and the 13 look like Whelen Modifieds. Big wreck.
Yep, here comes the whole field down pit road right now as well again. So it looks like they're trying to make that fuel mileage non-existent right now.
Here they go. Like you said, all onto pit road for the second caution of the night here at Talladega.
So, Atlee, I actually don't think the 03 got up into the wall. What that looked like to me, as everybody knows, we implemented a new aero model on these cars all the time. So it looked like he just kind of got up to the wall real fast. And when he did that in the corner, it loaded up the back end with air and caused that thing to get real light on the rear end and come around. That's what it kind of looked like to me. So
is that new update from season 1 of 2021 coming into play?
Absolutely, that's what it looked like to me. Just the way that he kind of got up near the wall real fast, and yeah, just loaded up the car with the side of the car with air, and when it pushed it off the wall, he had wheel in it, so it turned it right around.
Interesting. So I don't think we've seen that new aero model come into play all season until tonight. So that's interesting.
And I only know about that because it's happened to me. So, so one of the reasons why, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, it's a helpless feeling when the air gets taken off your car or loaded up on the side of the car like that. But on a track like Homestead or Indy or Darlington, where you're running that wall constantly, maybe not Indy, but down the stretch, you can get real close to the wall to help you out. But Darlington, Homestead, any place where you're running the wall at high speed, that air can really make a difference and really help you out. I've had a lot of fun playing around with that.
Right, and iRacing is always updating the aero models, especially on the Superspeedways, so we'll see how they continue to change everything.
Yeah, there's actually a great video. Anthony Alfredo did a video on YouTube not too long ago for iRacing, kind of talking about that aero and running the wall at Homestead and how he does it in real life. And he's like, yeah, this feels right. So that's pretty cool that a guy like that can say, yeah, this is what we do.
Right, Anthony Alfredo, all those drivers that race in real life and also on iRacing bring a lot of knowledge, and pretty cool that he said that, as we're now lining up with lights on the pace car going off. We're just doing a quick flyby through the field, seeing where your favorite driver is. Make sure to give us a shout out on Twitch, YouTube, on Facebook, on who you're pulling for, who you came to watch. As we do have this race a full field of 43 drivers. It's
nice seeing a big field like that. It's makes for entertainment for sure.
It does. I mean, it's just like, it's not old NASCAR, but a couple years ago they were running 43 cars, and that was fun racing. Definitely, and it's cool that we see that big of a field. In a lot of other leagues, I mean, they can't get that much car count, but these are 43 of the best super speedway racers here.
And somebody who's a Ryan Preece fan right now, the fact that they don't have 43 drivers anymore, kind of disappointing considering he lost his charter this year. So hopefully he gets to qualify for the Daytona 500 and gets to continue qualifying for all the big races.
Ryan Preece, I mean, I like Ryan Preece. He's probably my second or third favorite driver. Definitely remember his performance at the Daytona 500. He was making all those moves, ended up finishing third. That was crazy.
That was an awesome race, and I've been watching him up north here for years.
Here we go. Pace car pulls down onto pit road. We're going to go through this long trial. A little bit of a deja vu. Same front row as last restart. Tracy Weaver on the bottom. Estel Fields on the top, and we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, but they got different pushers behind him this time, and the dude Conrad's on that bottom. We know he can push. I know Kevin Freeze can push too, but I think dude's the better pusher out of the two as the green flag's back in the air.
And we're side by side as they cross the line. Already close racing, but looks like the high side, I believe, had the nose, and they still do as we enter the back straightaway. Very competitive so far. They've remained pretty much equal as we enter the back straightaway.
Yeah, and I'm seeing something we haven't really seen in a while here. The Groover brothers are separated by quite a few spots. So I wonder if those two can get hooked up somehow and get back up there. But yeah, it looks like Patrick's in 6th, Seth's back in 10th. You see dude's got that great push here on Tracy Weaver as they come to the dry oval.
Right, like you said, dude's a great pusher, and we'll see how well he can get that 41 out front. But Kevin Freeze is doing a great job getting Estel Fields the momentum that he needs, as he's stayed pretty much equal or close to that 41 machine. But it hasn't been quite enough to clear that 41. We'll see if he can continue to do a good job and maybe get that 20 or 042 out front.
You see dude just kind of roll off in the corner there, tuck down to the inside, get a little air to the front there, and then going right back to the bumper of the 41. That's how you be a good pusher here at these tracks. Being able to manage not just the bumper in front of you, but manage your temperatures as well.
There we go. Estel Fields drops down and takes the lead here at Talladega Superspeedway. Great move, and especially great pushing from Kevin Freeze. Kevin Freeze is the new leader of the high side, and we have Patrick Groover as the pusher.
And I'm sure the 25 is glad to see that 042 pull down to the bottom, because I imagine he was hot, as he was really all over the back bumper. And if dude had to get out of it a little bit and try to cool his motor, you know that 25 was running.
And now with the centerpiece of the new Cup cars, you can't really see. There isn't like a marker that indicates your temperature.
No, not like it used to be. So having the basically the only thing you have is a little number on your dashboard telling you if you're hot or not. And like I used to love running the gauges, the old spec gauges that when you started to get hot, they flashed. As we see the Groover brothers now on that high side and Jimmy Crow up there on that third lane. Now he's actually hooked up with them. Let's see what he can do up there with those three.
Right, 3 or 4 is the magic number for success on the high side. And they've gotten 3, and they're already equal with the 25 of Kevin Freeze. And they're continuing to get a great run. There's 25 dropping to the bottom. 429 of Paul Witt as the new leader of the high side with Gabe Butler behind him.
Yeah, when he pulled out, when the 25 pulled out to the bottom line there, it checked that middle line up and it checked that high lane up, and you can see what it's done to the Groover twins. Oh, big wreck.
Man, when the Groover brothers went down to that middle line, something, the 429 got squirrely, started to wiggle a little bit, and then got into the wall. We'll see the full wreck here in this wreckage replay as the third caution of the night comes out here at Talladega Superspeedway. Let's check it out. Here we go. Here we go. Got the 0102 on the high side. Wait. till when they move down, they're going to get a great run here on this back straightaway. There they go. They move down to the middle, and there they go. They're clear of the 429, but that upsets the 429 tremendously. Moves up, makes contact with the 39 of Jimmy Crow Jr., and that's where this wreck starts. Makes some contact with the 28. That's where everyone starts to get involved. 429 gets on his lid. Finally able to get back on his wheels, but the entire front end is torn off of that 429 machine. Major damage, and then the back end is also terribly damaged as well.
Yeah, and a couple other cars come piling in, but if you want to see a great view of this, you got to jump on board with the 43 car and ride along with him going through this, because how he got through this, I have no idea.
Check it out here. Here you go, get that view that you're talking about of the 43 of Dave Bingle.
Yeah, if you pull any either the driver's eye view or the roll bar view, it's incredible how he got through this unscathed.
Here you go. This is the exact thing that Dave Bingle's seeing right now on his rig. There
Yeah,
you
he just
go.
sees everybody. He saw smoke. He starts checking up. He's got cars sliding in
gosh.
front of him, sliding around him.
I don't know. I do not know.
He got through there without a scratch.
That's exactly what Ryan Preece did in that Daytona 500. Did stuff like that.
Oh.
Crazy moves. Great job to Dave Bingle. A lot of skill to do something like that. And John Garrett now is the new leader. When the caution came out.
Yeah, it looks like he's the only car that stayed out there. So, only being 8-lap stint, I don't think fuel's going to play that much of a factor, because they're definitely going to have to fit at least 2 more times at this point.
Right, this is the third caution, and pretty much everyone went in that last time except for John Garrett, so that's 3 pits in a very short period of time.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Daytona 500 next weekend.
Right, it can't come any sooner. I'm excited for it. I think everybody is. All the commercials they've been having hyping it up.
I love Daytona. The Daytona 500 to me is just a race that I look forward to all year long. Like even after Daytona 500 is over and we have that full season, I'm looking forward to that next season, because there's nothing like it. From twin qualifying races all the way up through the whole weekend. I'm excited actually for the truck series this year, because a driver that I used to race with on a team here in iRacing is making his truck series full season debut, Carson Hocevar. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Carson does this season.
And a lot of other rookies, especially in the Cup Series, got Chase Briscoe and Anthony Alfredo, both running for Rookie of the Year.
Amazing seeing Anthony move up to the Cup Series already. Another guy from Connecticut. I'm from Massachusetts. Seen a lot of him up in this area. So it's nice seeing drivers other than Joey Logano come out of the Northeast here.
As it looks like the lights on the pace car have gone off, so we are going to be going green this time by. We got front row the 429 of Paul Whitten, and outside of him we have Seth Groover, and lined up right behind him is the 01 of Patrick Groover.
And then right behind them is the 24 of Everett Lane. And again, another guy who I know can push and likes to be up front. So that Chrome machine, I imagine, will be up there pretty soon as well. Cal Everett's a huge Jeff Gordon fan, always runs the 24, always has some kind of Jeff Gordon looking scheme on there. So just like Gordon, I'm sure he's going to try to find his way right to the front.
We'll see what he can do. And then behind the 429, we have the 042 of Estel Fields and Tracy Weaver. Both of them have been up front pretty much all race. And there we go. Pace car drops down, and we're about to go green here after the tri-oval. Love on the back of both Groover's cars. It says push here. Yo, green flag is back out here at Talladega Superspeedway. Good restart to the 429 of Paul Witt. Gets the early nose over the 02 as we enter 1 and 2. Here's Groover all over that push here sign. Patrick Groover to be exact.
Yeah, and that top line now really starting to form up. You see those 4 cars up there. And then Dude Conrad trying to join the party. The bottom line is just starting to get formed up right now. So I imagine from the top line, turns 3 and 4 is really going to be prominent coming off the corner here.
Yeah, I think next lap, if they can have the same momentum as they did this lap and even more, I think you're going to see one of the Groover brothers, if not both, in the lead.
Yeah, I know we can't really see it on the screen right now, but we've broken into 2 distinct packs. There was a bit of a checkup on the start, so now we've got the first, looks like about 20, 25 cars in one pack, and then the rest of the field in their second pack, and they're about 15, 20 packs, 15, 20 car lengths off the field.
Yeah, I see that. I think it starts with the 04 of Mark Mann. There you go. It ends on Rick Seabrands. That was a great view there of the 2 distinct packs that you're talking about, and you see that a lot of times at super speedways. There you go. There's the leader of that second pack, 04 of Mark Mann. And they're trying to catch back up to Rick Seabrands, who's on the tail end of that first pack.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, they're just not lined up like the lead pack is right now. The lead pack's got 2 real nicely formed lines right there, and a little further back, they're just kind of all over the place. There's one car, the 033, actually just dipped down to the apron and pulled off. I think he's got a problem.
Ooh. And there goes the 02 of Patrick Groover. Excuse me, Seth Groover, back up to the high side, and he goes all the way up to the 3rd lane.
Yeah, I think he's going to catch his brother right here, and they're going to back up. And
I was expecting something along the lines of that from the Groover brothers. Always trying to hook up. And let's see if anybody else is going to join them. I know these past few times, Jimmy Crow has joined them. See if somebody like him or maybe somebody else is going to jump up there with them. And there goes the 429 of Paul Witt back to the lead. The 24 of Everett Lane is now the leader of the high side.
well, Jimmy Crow is actually off the track right now. He's in pit lane, 5 laps down.
Ooh. Oh,
Another
and caution's
surprise.
out. I
Yellow's
just saw
out.
that in the corner of my eye.
Oh, big wreck on the backstretch. The 03 just barely catching the inside wall. The 429 was involved in that as well. The 042 of Estel just came across the radio. Estel Field just said that was all him. That was his fault, and he apologizes.
Here's the view from the 03. You can see we got smoke, starting to see it. There you go, Estill Fields. Yeah, let's get a better view on that one. There we go.
Looked like somebody had a connection issue in front, and the smoke caused everybody to check up. And when they checked up, the wreck happened.
Ooh. Yeah, that's one of the problems that connection issues can cause. And, yep.
Oh, no. Just turned him.
Some contact between the 042 and then the 429. Let's see that one more time. The 429 was on the right side of the bumper of Estill Fields.
Yeah, when you get down on that left side of the bumper, it's asking for trouble.
Yeah, here's a good shot of it right here. Just might have hit it just right to where the 429 goes around.
You know, those watching at home don't really know this, but I know exactly what happened right there. There's a big bump right in the center of the trioval there. So what happened was the leader hit that bump, and you see him push up the track a little bit. And when he pushes up the track, the car behind is right there on the back bumper, and he can't really react quick enough to seeing that car push up the track. And then you just catch him on the left rear side of the bumper, sends that car around. These cars are so unstable. You can be on a skateboard and just touch a car and send them right around. So that's exactly what it looks like happened to me.
And despite that incident, Estill Fields is in the lead currently. Got teammate Frank Gramuglia behind him. Everybody's just now making their way off of pit road. As again, we've had so many cautions back to back to back to back, where it's really gonna mess up fuel strategy. That's always the main thing on who wins and loses. So far, we have not had a green flag pit stop yet.
It looks like we had a couple retirees tonight. Donald Kendrick had some connection issues, and he has brought it to the garage. And John Garrett also parking his for the night. He is done as well.
That's a shame there for the both of them. I mean, Superspeedway racing is so hard, and just some nights are not your night, and that's exactly what happened to those two.
Also, the 99 of LG Waitley and the 57 of Brian Pierce also retiring for the night.
Man, that's a shame for both of them. We're finally getting the best of the best in that top 20 right now. Is this going to come down to a great finish? Now, one driver who I haven't talked about all night is Rick Seabrands. And normally, he is always up there in the end, has finished in the top 10 in every single one of these races. And he seems to be migrating towards the front in 14th right now. We'll see how he fares in making his way up to the field. Estill Fields drop into the back.
Yep, they just gave him an EOL because of that wreck, so he's going to be starting at the tail end of the longest line. And lastly, Bradley Green is also retired from the race as well.
And we got drivers dropping left and right here. Superspeedway, Talladega's taking its victims.
Well, I said right at the beginning of the broadcast, some people might be trying to lay back and kind of hang out and save those resets, because you can go through a couple resets real quick here. And it looks like Bradley Green, Brandon Pierce, Jimmy Crow, John Garrett have done just that. So unfortunate for them to call the night early.
Yeah, a majority of the drivers that are up front right now haven't been involved in a lot of these accidents. Or have been involved in one of them.
Yeah, typically, and I say typically up front is where you want to be. Because you can kind of avoid everything because nothing's really going to happen in front of you. Unless, as we just saw with the 042 and the 429, if you get turned up in front and have to come across the field. So
there we go. Pace car dips off. Get the 83 of Mark Billen. Outside of him, the 13 of Frank Gramuglia. See how they fare on the front of this restart. And green flag is back out here at Talladega Superspeedway. 83 gets a great restart and is clear of that 13. That's also in part of a great push by the 24 of Everett Lane, who was thinking, or is he going to commit? Yeah, he commits. He moves up to the high side.
And there was a big checkup on that high lane that really spread the whole field out. And there's only 8 cars restarting on that high line right now. But already they're making it 3 wide as we see the 01 on the outside by himself going around the 22 machine of Don Thomas. Or Thompson, excuse me. And he's going to move right around that 22 machine and get right on the back bumper of, is that a, yellow machine right there.
That's Todd Siebels. But we know the Groover brothers are great at making moves around the track, and you saw just that with Patrick Groover stuck on the bottom, and clear of the leader, or almost, was Everett Lane. And all 3 of them are going to be able to clear that 83 of Mark Billen. That's Everett Lane, Frank Gramuglia, and Todd Siebels. So that leaves the 02 and 01 connected on that high side.
And they've got a little bit of help coming in the 55 machine right now, so it looks like they're going to have a little bit of help. Also, the 22 of Don Thompson and the 95 of James Mayer working that high side right now, trying to catch it, as well as the Group brothers actually split each other. Looks like the 01's going to go around to the front.
Nope, they looks like they stay together.
Yep, they just switched positions. So I don't know if one of them was getting hot or if that 01 just is a better puller and the 02 is a better pusher, which that does happen.
And I think right now is the point of the race. We're at past the halfway point. But right now is about the time where these drivers are realizing, hey, if we're going to make it to the end of this race and we're going to be competing for the win, we're going to need to save our cars.
Yeah, and these guys are going to want to have a green flag pit stop too. And we got one car down on the apron. Got pushed down there. Be the 777 of Michael Pegg. Got door slammed coming through that short chute after the tri-oval. Went down the apron and he was able to get back up. No harm, no foul there.
There goes the 15 of Noel Coers to the high side. I just saw him move up there. Still, the Groover brothers just running that high side.
It's just impressive how just the 2 of them can get up there and make things happen like that.
Right, I love seeing them working together. One of the best duos I've ever seen on Intensity Broadcasting. Love the way they work together, and it might be enough to get them both out front here. They can get a good enough run, as we do have now Noel Coers and the 55, who I believe is a lap car, Dean Wilkinson.
Yep, he has a couple laps down right now, but he's hanging. Actually, no, he is 1 lap down right now. So he's sitting there in 32nd place, but trying to make something happen with these leaders up here. They get in the mix.
And there goes both of the Groover brothers, the 01 and the 02, both head down to the bottom as they are now the leaders of the field with the 15 of no cores. As the new leader of the high side, Everett Lane, moves up to the high side. Smart move by him. They might get a good run here, or no. The 01 and the 02 continue to lead.
I know they're a ways back right now, but we've got the 429 and the 042 hooked up right now. And they are making their way through the back of the field and trying to catch back up here pretty quickly.
Yeah, both of those were the two cars that caused that previous incident. So we see them hooked up. The 042 now moving in front of the 04 of Mark Mann, trying to catch up to that tail end of that first pack. There's Dave Bingle catching up to him. And there we go.
So for a couple cars that started at the tail end of the lead lap, and they're making their way back up here pretty quickly.
Right. Sometimes just, even though you're paying attention to the action up front, it's cool to watch someone from the restart to maybe the next caution or they finish on how, if they start on pretty much the tail end of the lead lap, it's cool to watch them make their way up through the field. And of course, Estill Fields, he got that into the longest line penalty, having to make his way back up the field. We know he has a fast car, and we'll continue to watch his progression on him making his way up through the field.
Speaking of fast cars, a couple cars sneaking into the top 10 right now. Rick Seabrand's up to 6th, and John Stathakos up 23 positions, sitting in 9th right now. So there's two cars right there that are always up here at the front at the end. They've already made their way into the top 10 here.
Probably the biggest mover is tied between John Stathakos, but also Michael Howlett in 13th has moved 25 positions. If you remember last race, Michael Howlett was the winner, led the final 2 laps, got the win. We'll see if he maybe could try to get 2 in a row.
So the leaders are coming up on a lap car right now. Lap car's going to stay high against the wall. Hopefully it's going to keep him out of the way. That would be the 20 car. 88 on your screen, but the 20 of Jay Hillard. Looks like the field is going to navigate by him without issue.
Don't look now, but the high side is getting a great run. Everett Lane in that 24, and then Rick Seabrands in the 4 machine. They're getting a pretty good run, and I do think that maybe in the next couple of laps they're going to be clear. If not now, yep, there we go. Moving down to the bottom. Everett Lane, new leader.
Yeah, and the big checkup from the 95 there behind Rick Seabrands, it's going to cause that high line to really lose the energy when that happens. As you can see, it looks like John Stathakos is having a little issue with his connection. We saw him blinking just a second ago. So hopefully that settles up and that high lane can continue to move forward. And look who's already back up here in 7th place. That's Estill Fields in the 429 of Paul Witt. Back in the high lane right behind John Stathakos. So big moves happening right now from those two.
Right, again, Estill Fields got an EOL because of the last caution. It had to start at the end of the longest line and has made their way all the way back up to 7th. That's very impressive feat there by Estill Fields, and we'll see how he will continue to make his way up through the field. There goes the 24 of Everett Lane back up to the high side as earlier we saw the 4 of Rick Seabrands go down to the bottom, and that's going to end up paying off for Everett Lane. Great move, and he's going to able to get the 90. Ooh, he made it so that when he was on the bottom, the 95 couldn't get down because there wasn't quite enough room between the 24 and the 4 of Rick Seabrands.
Well, that was a smart move by the 95, actually, because he just pushed the 24 out to the lead. And what he was trying to do was, once the 24 got too far out in front of the 4, it was going to cause that bottom lane to check up. But it doesn't look like they checked up as much as he was hoping for, because normally he'd be able to pull himself right to the lead. But no, big push here from Rick Seabrands trying to get that bottom lane back working. He's going to push them right on by.
Right, Rick Seabrands is going to move to the high side. And we'll see if they can get some good momentum. It's been back and forth between Seabrands and Everett Lane, and oh, he's going to take the lead again. It's been past 2 laps. It's been Lane, Seabrands, and we'll see if it continues. If Everett Lane can get out front of that 95, he'll try to make another run up front. It'll be just another rotation between these two, but right now the 95 of James Mayer is currently the leader of that high side, and looks like the 24 is just going to go back up there.
It's exciting to watch those two trade positions back and forth, and what you're watching right now is a chess match at 205 miles an hour.
That's a great analogy of the situation currently. And there you go. He's going to take the lead once again, is clear of the 4 of Rick Seabrands, but he's not going down quite yet.
Now, he learned from last time that 95 wasn't going to follow him down there, so what he's going to do is he's going to let that 95 push him down the backstretch here. Then they're both going to drop to the bottom here as they go in turn 3, and they drag the 08 of John Stathakos right along with him. So,
and that was a great move by all 3 of those drivers, able to get out in front. Now that's now going to put the 042 of Estill Fields as the leader of that high side.
Yeah, Paul Witt's right behind him, and then the Groover twins. So imagine they're going to get something going here. There's a little bit of a separation on that bottom line right now. So I see that bottom lane starting to fall back a little bit as that high lane's going to start to have some energy here due to the separation. You can see behind the 04 to the 15, there was just a little bit of way too much daylight right there, and that's going to let that high line really start to come.
And I was expecting them to do something like that. There goes the 01 and 02 of Patrick and Seth Groover, now trying to start a 3rd lane.
Me personally, as much as I like running up on that 3rd lane, I don't think right now is the right time to do it. I think you've got too many strong cars plus a green flag pit stop that you're going to have to make. I would just ride in line, kind of just play it right, see if we can get on and off the pit road well together and try to stretch it out there. But these guys in the race, they want to go for it. So, you know, kudos to them for being aggressive.
But for them, they do have a disadvantage because here with this green flag pit stop, they're going to have to work their way all the way down to the bottom of the track.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Right now, I would just kind of want to ride in that 2nd lane, because once that inside lane goes to pit, or, you know, a hole opens up, you get down there. But these guys want to race, and hey, I respect it. More power to them. Makes it exciting up here for sure.
Right, and we'll see if they can get something done. Anybody else maybe might want to try to head up there to the high side.
Well, you see that little group behind everybody kind of making their way up right now. It's the 33 of Michael Howlett up there. He's got a decision to make, because he's going to have to check up hard when he gets to the 429. He could jump up there with those two and try to make their way up to the front. So that's what he's thinking right now, calculating the move. I'm sorry, yeah, that's the 33 of Michael Howlett. He's got the 34 right behind him. Looks like he's just going to stay to the inside of these two as they come through the tri-oval here.
Yeah, there's a great view of the entire field. It's just right now, this is the time where we got green flag pit stops starting to come upon us. Everybody's getting ready for them. We've had a pretty long green flag run, and he barely took the lead there. I thought he might go across his nose, but the 042 of Estill Fields is going to take the lead here at Talladega.
Well, and I saw a couple cars moving down to the inside, so I'm interested to see if anybody's going to be pitting this time by. I'm listening on the radio for people hollering. I did hear now that the 83 is going to be pitting here. So expect to see at least a couple cars peeling off on the pit road right here. As here comes all the leaders.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 8.
The 042.
10 cars coming on the pit road right now.
042, 24, 71. A lot of the regulators drivers head on the pit road.
All them chrome cars come on the pit lane.
Right. Love all their paint schemes. They definitely have the best paint schemes on the tracks with their chrome cars. Let's see who's going to win the race off of pit road, and then we'll take a look back out front again.
Obviously, they got the best paints on the track right now because I'm not out there. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, I love that Intensity Broadcasting paint scheme, but there goes Everett Lane winning the race off of pit road. And we'll see how they can catch back up to the field. Now, Patrick and Seth Groover are the leaders right now with the 429 of Paul Witt, the leader of the high side.
Unfortunately, Mark Billen with a really bad pit stoppage. You're going to see the leaders come by him right here as they come off of turn number 2. And yeah, he's just all by himself. You see him in the middle of the backstretch right there. All by himself, nobody to help him out. It's just a sit duck, unfortunately.
But kudos to, from Everett Lane to Frank Gramuglia, all of them were able to make their way off of pit road and still be ahead and far away from the leaders.
If we have anybody else pitting this time by, nope, no takers pit road this time by.
I remember from last race, the Groover brothers love to stretch it out as long as they can.
Leaders are coming by the 83 right now, and like I said, he may have just missed his pit stall, had to back up, forgot to put in gear, something small that cost him all that time. Because it looked like he was about a half a second behind everybody else, but that half a second coming off of pit road translates to a good 8 seconds on track.
Right, and that's disappointing for him. Pit road, there's a lot of different things
Here
that
comes the Groovers.
No, there they go.
And a bunch of cars in the back as well as they both lock it up hard again. Oh, one car misses pit road completely. That's the 44. He's sideways across pit road right now. That was Bobby Johnson having some issues there getting on the pit road.
We'll rewind and check out exactly what happened to that 44 machine of Bobby Johnson. Like he might be blinking a little bit, which affects the replay.
Couple more cars peeling on pit road right now. We've got the 4, the 83. I'm sorry, the 4, the 95. One car coming in real hot right now, but he makes it in here. It's the 91 machine. He had him locked up all the way from the time he pulled off of the track to the line.
Currently out front is Darren M. Razor in that 34 machine. We got 88 of Jay Hilliard as the leader of the high side. Last I checked, yeah, Jay Hilliard is a lap car. Trying to get his lap back if he can make it by the 34 of Darren M. Razor. It's always cool sometimes when we see lap cars up front, and there we go. Darren M. Razor going on the pit road, and that's the 429 of Paul Witt. Both of them heading on to pit road.
Unfortunately, just the 2 of them pitting, so you really don't want 2 cars. You want at least 3 cars when you pit, but we'll see how much that affects them on track. I believe we're going to have a bunch more cars pitting right here. I just heard somebody calling out they're pitting this time. I believe 07, 15's pitting this time. 007's pitting. 52's pitting this time by.
And so a lot of people heading in. Let's see. Here we go. All the leaders pretty much head on to pit road, and that's going to help Jay Hilliard at least get one of his laps back. And when they all shuffle around, that's going to put Paul Witt as the leader.
That was a hard lock up there, too. One of the cars almost got into the back of another one there. They're all able to get on pit road cleanly, so. Actually, from my calculations here, it looks like the Groover twins are going to be right back up front.
Sweet. Oh, but then we got that 9 machine of Charles Johnson as the leader of the bottom.
Yep, Charles Johnson's going to assume the lead right here.
We got a nice pack of cars here. We got all the regulators, aka the Chrome cars, Groover Brothers, Charles Johnson, Siebels, as they're heading by all the cars that just went down on the pit road that previous lap.
Everybody, the final cars needed to have pit down. So everybody's need their green flag pit stops. We're gonna be good to the end here.
Yep, but I think, I don't know, maybe some of the drivers that went down onto the pits, it was 3 or 4 races ago where we saw a green flag photo finish having to do with fuel. So we don't have to see that here, where fuel is going to have the leading factor on who wins and loses.
Yeah, these guys came in the pit with about 27, 28 laps to go. I said the fuel window would be between 28 and 30, so I think these guys came in at just the right time to make it to the end without having to. And if we had a green light check, I think we'd be getting that lap traffic just.
Whoa!
Oh, we got a spin. The O2 got turned by the lap car.
That's crazy what lap traffic can do. We'll check out that replay to see what happened between the leaders and lap traffic. Let's check it out.
Still wrecking back there, and man, Seth Groover is not happy. Which I can't blame him. He was very upset by the way that the lap cars were holding their lines, and not holding their line in this case. You see 2 lappers down the bottom, 1 lapper up on the top.
Yeah, there were 3 wide at one point. Yeah, there they are.
Yeah, they end up having to go 4 wide. And the air just kind of upset the O2 a little bit, it looks like. It was either the air or netcode caused them to, yeah. And that's just going to pile the rest of the field in right here.
Go some contact. There we go. That's where the wreck starts. 042, a lot of cars flying in the air. 37 flipping. Man.
So yeah, I understand why Seth is upset. I'd be upset if I was in his shoes too. Unfortunately though, it's just a part of this kind of racing. When lappers, are there, you have to try to get around them the best you can. Usually you ask them to either stay high or stay low, but looks like they're very indecisive.
Right, it still is, of course, on the driver who's lapping. It is their responsibility as well to execute a clean pass as well.
See, I know myself when I'm on the track, if I'm on a straightaway or like through the tri-oval, I'll try to get down to the apron, where if I'm in the corner, I'll try to stay up on the high side. So we're going to take another look at this here.
So the other 2 lap cars, Tracy Weaver and then the 28, both go down to the bottom. Now the 9 of Charles M. Johnson is going to go to the middle, make it 3 wide right here.
Yeah, and he's got no choice. He's got so much more speed than those 2 cars on the bottom.
And here is the situation right here. Like you said, 37 upsets the O2 a little bit. And that just sends them down into the 9 machine of Charles Johnson. And that's where the domino effect starts happening. Tracy Weaver, who is the 042 of Estill Fields. Gabe Butler. Ouch. Kevin Freeze runs into everything. Man, big wreck here at Talladega.
Yeah, that tore up a lot of good cars. And I know personally, I've run a couple real races in my life, not Superspeedway, obviously, but Stafford Motor Speedway. And every driver's meeting I've always been in is they say lap cars stay to the bottom, stay out of the way. If you can't get to the bottom, hold your line and stay out of the way. And have track awareness and know what's going on around you. And unfortunately, that was a little bit of a miscommunication between the lappers and the leaders, and that's what caused that happen right there.
Right, and when the caution flag came out, looks like Patrick Groover, despite having his brother majorly involved in that previous incident, he is still out front now. And don't look now, Rick Seabrands is in the 5th position.
Yeah, he's having a great run, holding that thing tight and staying up there to the front, up 31 positions from the start.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, he's definitely the biggest mover of the race here. That takes a lot of skill to do what Darren and Razor did. Made his way up to the front. He led 1 or 2 laps, I think. Last race, looks like Patrick Groover led the most laps with 22, and he's been out front all race long now, but he has lost the help of his brother Seth, who currently is in 18th. We'll see maybe if they can find a way to get back together. But right now, as we restart, we got Todd Siebels on the high side, 01 of Patrick Groover on the bottom.
Now, I'll tell you what, there is one person who wanted to see that yellow come out and was really glad it happened, and that's the 83 of Mark Dillon. We saw him have some issues on pit road, get separated from the pack he was running with. Completely almost a lap down. He was probably about 3/4 of a lap down when that yellow came out, and fortunately for him, he's right back in this.
Right, this also helps a lot of the drivers that had just gone or came out of the pits right before the caution flag came out. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, we still have 26. I was going to say, we still have 26 cars on the lead lap right now, too.
Right, and I'm not sure, but how many laps are left? We're going to go back green because it...
About 14 laps when we take the green flag here.
All right, so we got a nice little 14-lap shootout here at Talladega. We'll see how this goes.
Right. I see quite a bit of aggression coming these first couple rows for sure. You got some hungry drivers up on that high side there.
Yeah, we got 429 of Paul Witt, Darren and Razor, Mark Mann, Nick Charles Johnson. All of them are thirsty to get out to the front. And they'll make a lot of moves that they probably wouldn't have made within maybe the first 25 laps. But here we go. Green flag is back out here at Talladega Superspeedway. Getting a good restart is that 01 of Patrick Groover. He's going to clear, or almost clear, 45 of Todd Siebels. Great run on the bottom. Outside gets something going here. Conrad, though, is behind the 01.
Yeah, dude's a great pusher out there, and I'm sure he's going to be able to keep Patrick up there pretty well. Oh, it was Patrick as the high side, so he saw a little bit of energy coming from that high side. He jumped up there, but allowed dude to get the run by his.
Oh, and we're wrecking behind them. Caution is out. Here. Big wreck here.
I heard someone come across and say it was all him. I'm trying to figure out who that was. It looks like the 91 got turned.
Yeah, on my screen, the first car that I saw was the 007 of David Adamson. So we're going to be watching from his perspective. He's got the 91, like you mentioned, in front of him. So let's see what happens with the green Hornet.
Yeah, he just, I saw it happening on my screen. I just double checked. The 007 just caught him in the wrong place at the wrong time. And we'll see it right here as they come through turns 1 and 2. There was a huge checkup right in front of them when the 01 jumped up to the outside.
Right.
When that, sorry, I'm listening to the broadcast, the chat here. So when the 01 jumps to the high side, it just causes that accordion effect, and everybody's not able to check up quick enough, and that's where the 007 gets into the 91, turns him across the field, and that's where all hell just breaks loose right here, as the entire field pretty much goes flying through here. The 52 looks like he's going to get by.
No, got the O2 of Seth Groover involved in another one.
And I think that's going to end his day, unfortunately for him.
Now, this is a terrible wreck because I think a lot of these drivers have already used one fast repair, so this is going to eliminate a lot of drivers from contention here. As looks like right now, Patrick and Dude Conrad are messing with the poor pace car driver.
Yeah, I'm looking at the O2 right now on pit road, and oh no, he had a reset still.
Ooh.
So he's got a fresh car. He didn't take any fuel or tires or anything. He's already back rolling with a fresh car here, so.
Jay Hilliard gets another one of his laps back. Still not back on the lead lap yet. We got a few drivers on pit road probably involved in that previous incident. Frank Gramuglia, Michael Pegg, Charles Johnson, and then Michael Howlett all on pit road. Here's Dude
So we're
Conrad.
talking about fuel. You were talking about fuel earlier. I was just sitting here listening to Patrick Groover turning the car on and off.
Ooh, so trying to conserve some of that fuel. Because the one thing that you don't want is for the reason why you lose, not to be because of a mistake you made or the other driver, because of fuel. That's not what you want. So good to see him trying to conserve a little bit. Majority of these cars that we've flown through so far look pretty clean except for the rubber on their hoods. Ooh, a little bit of damage on that 9 of Charles Johnson.
Yeah, he got into the when that happened, he made a little bit of contact in that last wreck, and I don't think it's going to hurt him. It doesn't look like it's severe enough to really slow him down, but I think he's going to want to be right behind something on the bumper, kind of offset that damage.
Now it looks like the lights on the pace car have gone off, so we are going to be going green this time by. Got Dude Conrad on the bottom and Patrick Groover on the top on this front row. Then we got Rick Seabrands pushing Dude, and Todd Siebels behind the 01 of Patrick Groover. Let's see what happens here. Cream has risen to the top here throughout this race. Got the best of the best, ready to duke it out for the win. A few disappointing mishaps for a lot of these drivers. Ended a few nights. We're getting ready. Got the 2 red cars on the front row. I know normally Dude Conrad, he's shown to be so far throughout this race. A good pusher. But now he's going to be a puller on this restart.
Yeah, and he's got a great pusher behind him of Rick Seabrand. So, with Seth really not, I'm sorry, with Patrick not having his brother there and having no real help, imagine those two on the bottom are going to hook up pretty well. And that 429 of Paul Witt's been pretty stout tonight, too. So that bottom line right now is, I believe, the stronger line as they're coming to the screen here.
Right, we got a great big three with those three front cars on the bottom. All three of them have great odds for winning this race here at Talladega, but we're getting ready to go back green. And the green flag is back out here at Talladega Superspeedway. And there we go. Duke Conrad gets a good restart, has the nose over the 01 of Patrick Groover. But with the separation between the 4 of Rick Seabrands and the 95, who ended up moving down to the bottom, James Mayer, that's going to help the 01 stay in contention.
Yeah, we have just 9.5 laps to go now, at least, so the intensity is ramping up right now for sure.
Yeah, this is the point where people are going to do a lot less giving and a lot more taking here.
And I see 3 cars lined up right now that I haven't seen lined up in a while, and they're coming. That's Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, and Everett Lane. Those 3 are hooked up, and they were just flying up to that high side. And I wouldn't be surprised if those 3 make a move to the outside. As you see, they've already moved right up to the back bumper of the 95, the 34.
Oh! Caution's out! Take a look at that wreckage replay. I think it might have been a little bit of net code, maybe some air upsetting the car, but no contact between the 2 cars, looked like. Let's check it out. As we're getting it up here, all right, we found the incident. Check it out. So watch that bright banana yellow machine of Todd Siebel's. Another one of those, it's the same thing that happened with Estill Fields and Paul Witt.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of net code right there between those 2, and unfortunately caused the wreck. Oh, no, it's hard to say.
To me, I mean, it looked like identical to that incident between Paul Witt and also...
Yeah, it looks like, so re-looking at this, it looks like the 45 checked up a little bit because he got a little spooked by that car on the outside kind of coming down on him. 34 kind of comes down, he lifted, and that caused Duke to get in the back of the 45 and turn.
Boom, and then everybody checked up, tried to avoid it. They couldn't make it through. As this is a big one here. Oh, there goes somebody turning left and praying. Seabrands ends up not getting quite as much damage as he would have. He hadn't have done that. As he just sees all the chaos in his rearview mirror, and he's like, phew, glad I'm not a part of that. And as there it goes, a lot of drivers down onto pit road. As more and more drivers are getting eliminated out of contention because of these incidents. When the caution flag came out, Patrick Groover ended up being the leader. We're going to have only a few laps left when we go back green here. Pretty sure Seth Groover's done because he was involved in that incident and he had already used 2 of his fast repairs. While we're pacing, let's do a quick driver profile of the leader, Patrick Groover, in that 01 machine from Meadville, Pennsylvania. He's been sim racing. He's been doing sim racing for 15 years, all the way back to NASCAR 2003. And then him and his brother, Seth, with PSG Racing. And that's the case for a lot of these drivers. Been sim racing for double digits, 10, 15, 20 years.
I know I've been racing for quite a while myself. I first experience was NASCAR Racing 2 for Windows 98. So I believe that mimicked the 1996 season. I'll have to look that up. I mean, it was a long, long time ago.
NASCAR Windows 2. I forget what was the game that I said in the intro to F&D, but that was a big one. A lot of the drivers in F&D started with that one. I don't remember the name of it.
NASCAR 2003 series is where those guys got their start. Yep, I was right. It mimicked the 1996 season.
Wow.
That was... Yep, that game actually came out in 96, and it was developed by Papyrus, which is now iRacing.
I was trying to think of that. Papyrus, they had NASCAR 4. So yeah, Sierra Papyrus, yep. NASCAR 4.
They've done it all. They did the original IndyCar. They did NASCAR Racing, NASCAR Racing 2, 3, 4, 2003. So yeah, they've been part of this for quite a while. As Atlee, I'm going to have to leave you to finish this up so I can get the set up for our next race, as they're getting ready to off in the next half hour.
Yep, we're excited for that, so go set that up. And if you're watching this right now, make sure to stay tuned because we do have the iOS Cup Series tonight. There's always great racing there. Second week of the season, as we had the season opener last Tuesday.
I'm looking forward to this one, so everybody have a great night. Catch me over on the next one, and I will see you soon.
We are now getting set for this next restart. Restarting on the front row, we got the 01 of Patrick Groover, Darren and Razor in the 34. Behind them, got Gabe Butler and the 13 of Frank Gramuglia. When they go across the line, we're going to have a 5-lap shootout with some of the best Superspeedway racers, best setups. This should get exciting. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Green flag is back out here at Talladega Superspeedways. There we go on the ticker. 5 to go. Good restart by the 01 of Patrick Groover. He's going to jump out here to an early lead. See if the 34 and the 13 of Razor and Gramuglia can get anything done. 88 of Gabe Butler goes up to the high side. See if that'll give some more momentum for that high side jump out in front of Patrick Groover. And there we go. He jumps down now to the bottom. Takes the lead here, so that now puts Darren Razor back as the leader of the high side, getting a good push from Frank Gramuglia. Michael Pegg's there as well. Let's see if they can get anything good here. We're now 4 to go. lot of momentum on that high side. If they can keep it coming into the back straightaway, I wouldn't be surprised if, the 13 goes way high. And he's picking up that 83 car of Mark Dillon. And also Todd Siebels. So they're trying to start a third line maybe. Ooh, it's not working too well. Fading out. Here goes Patrick Groover up to the high side. You've seen him running that all night long. And I'm pretty sure he's going to finish it out like this unless he can get a great run here with 3 to go. He's got the momentum as Gabe Butler's now the leader of the bottom. He jumped to the bottom. Let's see what happens here. As we enter the back straightaway, I'm expecting to see some good momentum with Razor and Groover. And they're going to clear Gabe Butler. Both of them are going to be able to do it, but only the 34 of Darren Razor is going to be able to head to the bottom. So staying up there is the 01 of Patrick Groover, as there's somebody on that third line. There goes Mark Mann and somebody else heading up there as well. 2 to go. That's Mark Mann, I believe. The 95 of James Mayer. Noel Coers, Mark Billen. So we're seeing a fully functional third line up there, trying to get something done. Jump out ahead of Patrick Groover, but right now this bottom line is running away as we're nearing 1 to go. Can both of those higher lines get something going? Here's they are going to have 1 lap left to get something done. There we go, crossing the stripe right here. 1 lap to go here with the Superspeedway Kings. Gabe Butler peaking high, and he's going to commit to the high side now. Looking to see if Patrick Groover can pick him up, get him some good momentum, and jump out ahead. A few drivers going down to the apron. Great run. Mark Mando on the third line is going to have a great run. Moves down to the bottom. Gabe Butler trying to know what to do, but he clips the front end of Patrick Groover, and they wreck. So unless the 95 can get a good run, Mark Mann is your winner here at Talladega Superspeedway. James Mayer takes second, and Everett Lane finishes third. What a race here at Talladega Superspeedway. Mark Mann, the 42-year-old from Cobleskill, New York, takes the win in that Batman Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. He ran that high side with the help of James Mayer, and both of them ended up coming out on top. And great race to everybody that participated. We're waiting here as they enter the tri-oval. We're waiting for the 04 to get a burnout coming. Finishing grid right here. And, that's qualifying results. There we go. We got the race results. So Alliance Motorsports teammates finish 1-2. Mark Mann, then James Mayer. Finishing third was Everett Lane. Fourth place, Charles Johnson. Rounding out your top 5 was Estel Fields. Finishing sixth was Rick Sebrands. Seventh, Frank Gramuglia. Finishing 8th was Patrick Groover. 9th ended up being Michael Pegg. And then rounding out your top 10 ended up being Eric Laurie. 11th place was Mark Billen. 12th, Noel Coers. Finishing 13th with Darren Razor. 14th, Gabe Butler. And rounding out your top 15, it ended up being Michael Loveless. Brent Lee finishes 16th, Todd Siebel 17th. Finishing 18th was Jay Hilliard in that 20 machine. 19th was Paul Witt. And rounding out your top 20 was Seth Groover. 21st, John Stathakos. 22nd, Dean Wilkinson. 23rd ended up being Michael Howlett in that 8 machine. Dude Conrad finishes 24th. And rounding out your top 25 is actually the 25 of Kevin Freeze. 26th was Bobby Johnson. Finishing 27th was Ernie Williams Jr. 28th was David Adamson. 29th, Don Thompson. And rounding out your top 30, Larry Boyle. David Overstreet, 31st. Got Dave Bingle, ended up finishing 32nd. Tracy Weaver, 33rd. Al Cena finishes 34th. Rob Connors, 35th. Brian Pierce ended up finishing 36th. And rounding out your top 37 is Randy Minor. We're going to be... Let's pull in second place finisher James Mayer, see what he has to say. James, this is Atlee in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I hear you.
Man, that was a crazy race. Coming in after that restart with 5 to go, you were running that high side with Mark Mann. There ended up being a lot of crazy action up front, some wrecking, and you ended up finishing it out in second. What happened here in this race from your eyes?
I just do my best to keep it clean and, get to the end there. That's obviously the key to these races, to be there at the end. Behind Mark there, able to get the run. I hope those guys in the middle there, I couldn't tell if I got down on them or they caused that big wreck there at the end. But we had a good run. I tell you what, I was pushing some temps, so I'm surprised it didn't pop. But congrats to Mark for the win, and it was just a good run on the high side.
Also, we saw the fuel strategy come into play. In that one green flag pit stop, what ended up being your fuel strategy there?
We were, me, Rick, and Mark, we always run together. We always have it down to, we're always pushing the limits on fuel strategy. If it had gone green, we've been pretty close. So there's no doubt about that. We would have needed some luck and saving some fuel. That's for sure.
Well, congratulations on second place. Anybody you'd like to thank or shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, Jimmy for putting on the league. You guys up in the booth for putting on the show, and my teammates there helping me get to these solid finishes.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on second place, and hopefully we'll catch you in the booth next week.
I hope so. We'll see you guys later.
There we go. We got winner Mark Mann in the booth. Mark, you got a copy?
I do. What's going on?
Well, that was a fantastic race. Running that high side, starting on 5 to go with James Mayer, and you ended up getting the win with a lot of wrecking on that final 5 to go shootout. What happened here in this race from your eyes?
Oh, man, I did not have a great race. I was in the middle of the pack most of the race, and I was having a hard time making up positions because all those drivers are so good, and just were able to take advantage of some of those cautions and get some quick pits on myself back there in 8th. And my teammate James Mayer just got behind me on that 3rd lane and gave me a heck of a push. That was incredible. And then at the end, I saw Gabe getting a run. And I knew if I didn't block at least some safely, I wouldn't have been able to get a win. So I'm happy with the result, but it really wasn't in the cards tonight. It didn't feel like. So that was just lucky at the end and good teamwork.
Yeah, and speaking of lucky, coming into this race, you probably had a strategy. How did it change throughout the race, and how it affected you?
That's a great question. The strategy going in is always try to qualify well, but these guys in these open setups run great qualifying laps, so it's extremely difficult to get a top 10 starting position. So I think that plays a huge factor when you have a lot of really competitive cars. So from there, it was kind of take advantage of any incidents in front of us and take advantages of some fuel strategy and get a little bit quicker pit stop, even if it was under yellow. And just try to be there in the top 10 at the end. If you're up there in that bunch in the top 10 at the end on a super speedway, you got a shot. So that's how it definitely changed.
Well, that was overall a great race by you. Ended up getting the win. Anybody you'd like to thank or shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out to my friend Mara, who's watching the broadcast, and all the fans and friends at home. Shout out to you guys doing the broadcast. You do a great job. I think you got a good career ahead of you. And to the league and all the sponsors, definitely all the sponsors that sponsor these races. And to Jimmy Crow, who puts on, out of all the leagues for Superspeedway, I mean, he always fields a full field. And thoughts and prayers to his family, as you know, I know they're going through a difficult time right now. And to my teammates, lastly, but not first. Well, whatever. I've talked enough.
Well, overall, congratulations on first place, and hopefully we'll catch you in the booth next week.
Thank you, brother. I'm gonna burn it down a little.
Woo!
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to the broadcast here tonight. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to Intensity Broadcasting. And coming up in just a little bit, we have the iOS Cup Series. So make sure to tune into that. Always great racing. And then the schedule for Wednesday, we're going to have the Intensity Racing League Short Track Series, Super Late Models, race number 2. That's always great racing. Got some of the best late model drivers in that. And then also got the iOS Truck Series after that. So we got a great schedule coming up here. So just stay tuned and watch to see when we go live. Especially turn on the notifications. Hopefully we'll see you there at the iOS Cup Series. Thank you for watching. Over and out.